My name is Kimberly Scott, and at the end of 2012, my mother was diagnosed with early onset dementia. Suggestions and stories of my friends that helped me become less overwhelmed while I figured out how to manage this life-changing event and the diagnosis. I'm hoping that this podcast will be a comfortable place where we can share the stories that come with caring for a loved one and or parent with dementia like myself. If you want to share your story and be a guest on the podcast, please email me at Kimberly, Kimberly, at marketingdoer.com. And thank you in advance for your time. Please help me welcome Miss Jann Villanueva.
Hello, Jann Villanueva.
I love it.
Thank you for joining me today. So we are here today to talk a little bit about the organization, the group that you started with your mom, Donn's Friends.
Yes.
Which that name is really easy for me to remember because my middle name is Donn, D-A-W-N. So
I know.
Forget your dad's
I loved
name.
when you told me that. That was so cool.
That is awesome. So yeah, tell me a little bit about how and why you and your mom decided to start, we'll call it the passion project that you were doing at the Flower Mound Senior Center.
Yes.
In Flower Mound, Texas.
That's right. So Donn's Friends, which is named after, obviously, my dad, Donn, which we talked about.
Yeah.
My amazing daddy. He was diagnosed in probably about 11 years ago, so in about 2006, 2007 with Alzheimer's disease. And passed away in June of 2017, so June of last year. So we just hit about a year.
Yeah, that's...
So, it's been a tough year, to say the least. Yeah. My mom and dad had just celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary in May before he passed. So God kept him here with us to make that milestone mark, which was very important to my mom. So,
well, congratulations to them.
Thank you. Yeah, they're...
And for raising such a wonderful daughter. I'm sure I haven't met your sisters, but...
Well, I mean, I am the favorite of the four. Just throwing that out there. No,
okay.
Not really. I am the baby, though.
Yes,
so, that holds some credit.
Absolutely. That's a whole other podcast.
Right. So it's interesting how this whole project came into fruition. Well, I guess before my dad had passed, we were looking for a program to put my dad in to give my mom a little, respite care because she was his primary caregiver.
Yeah, just a little relief during the day.
Just a little relief. It was killing her, honestly, taking a toll on her. And anyone who can relate to the disease or is going through the disease can understand, how hard it is to take care of someone, with Alzheimer's or any type of dementia. And so, I had reached out to some friends, social media, things like that about, maybe finding a program or somewhere where dad could go to give my mom a little bit of a break, and ran across this program called Oasis at First Baptist Church in Louisville. And emailed the gal there and, told her I was interested in getting my dad in the program. And she said they were full. And so we kind of had to wait on, getting dad in that. And so,
it sucks for you guys, but good for an organization that was trying to do better
absolutely.
In the world.
Right.
Sure, so.
Right. Wasn't a bad problem for her to have, except that, we needed to help more people, or she needed to help more people. And so, when dad passed in June, they ended up having a spot open up, and, she emailed me and said, "Hey, we've got a spot for your dad." And so, that was a hard email for me to write to her and, let her know that, dad had passed. And something just, told me after emailing her and talking to her that I needed to do something. Everyone who has to deal with this disease has to deal with it differently, whether they can't be with their loved one and they have to depend on, someone in a different state or city to take care of them. My family was fortunate enough to be here together. I do have one sister that lives in Ohio, but for the most part, the majority of us were here to help mom take care of dad, but we all work.
Yeah.
So
life is happening at the same time. The disease is happening. Yes.
Exactly. So I reached out the next day after, learning that there had been a spot opened up to Bronwyn, who runs the program, and said, "Look, I really don't know why I'm calling you."
Kind of like when I called you.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I am. Yeah. And, I don't know, if I am supposed to be volunteering. I don't know the purpose of this call, except maybe it's to help with my grieving. Maybe it's to help me understand why this happened to my dad, and I was kind of in that why stage of grief. So, she said that she would love to talk to me, and she just opened up her arms to me and inspired me to not let this disease win.
Yeah.
It had taken my father, but it wasn't going to stop me from helping people. I'm a religious person. So,
Yes.
it was God talk to me saying, just because he's gone doesn't mean our mission to help others is gone. So I told my mom about this program and bragged about my now friend Bronwyn a lot to her all the time. And she said, man, I wish there would have been something like that at the Flower Mound Senior Center, because her and my dad were super active.
Yeah, your mom was telling me today about how they would come all the time to do different things. And I wish every city had a senior center like that. You know? I know they have senior centers everywhere, but not necessarily as involved. And there were so many people there. The parking lot was full, so many activities. And so that's just amazing. Kudos to them for doing that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So, no, and it is. And it was a great place. And my mom and dad loved it. And they were active members there. And, she said, I wish they would have had something like that. And I said, well, maybe they should.
Yeah.
And I said, let's do it. Let's put something together. Let's see what we can do. We don't know what it looks like yet.
Mm-hmm.
And really for my mom, it was finding a spot for her to go talk to other people about the disease, because she didn't know who to talk to other than us, who were basically going through it at the same time she was. No one that had been through it before, or no one else besides her daughters that she could talk about the disease and what was happening and the progression and is this normal? Is this not normal? Why? We didn't have those answers. We just had to wing it,
I mean, I feel like everybody does, because when my mom was diagnosed in 2012, like, it was talking to different friends in our industry that gave me advice, or just listening to their stories helped me, because like I would be in a meeting and I would just be breaking down in tears, and then it happened to be that person just so happened, like I would hold it together, and then just the day happened to be going wrong, something having to do with her, and then they would say, oh, well, this happened to me, or you should call this person. So you don't know. You just, you can read online, doctors, I feel like they can only tell you so much by law. And then if you do go to certain, like, healthcare, they're trying to sell your services, so you don't quite know. And maybe not everybody, but like you just learn as you go, really. And it's through the grace of God, of, patients and friends, family that get you through it. You guys, for sure.
Yeah, so she went and talked to the director of the Flower Mound Senior Center. Her name is Jamie Cooper, and said, I would love to have a program that helps not only caregivers, but maybe even has a little corner for people that are diagnosed with the disease.
There had never been this at the senior center before?
Never. Wow. No, never, cool. Never. And Jamie said, it's funny that you're asking me that, because I've thought about doing something like that. I just really didn't know how to put it together, and didn't know of anyone that maybe, was interested in doing something like that. And my mom said, well, my daughter is friends with the woman who runs the program at the Louisville Baptist Church, and it's a great program, and it's amazing. And, maybe my daughter and I could help start something here. We're both willing, ready, and able. So my mom went to Chili's that night with me, and she said, hey, so I talked to Jamie about starting a program at the senior center. And she said that she would love to talk to us. And I said, oh, that's awesome. Let me see her card. And I saw her card, and I said, Mom, I know her. And she said, what? And I said, if this is the same girl, I think I went to high school with her.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Isn't this crazy?
That is 6 degrees of separation.
I know. And so I said, it's got to be the same girl. And so I looked her up on Facebook, because we were friends on Facebook, and I saw that that's where she worked. And I thought, wow, talk about something that's meant to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I sent her a message, and I said,
circle.
You're not going to believe this, but Mildred Wheeler is my mom. And so we connected. I met at her office back in December of 2017. So it had been about 6 months after my dad passed, and told her what my mom and I's ideas is just kind of having like a caregiver's corner, and then a corner for those with the disease, that we could do music therapy. We can do arts and crafts. We can sing and just have fun and play games, and just kind of take them away from.
Yeah, for just a little bit.
Yeah, for a little bit. And then have those people that are caring for them just learn more.
Yeah.
You attended, so.
Oh yeah. Like, that was just being in a room full of people that something was different. Like, this woman said, the disease does not affect anyone the same. Like, it's always different, and it always affects the caregivers the most,
right?
But it's all different. Like, everybody's situation is different. It was one of the best groups I'd been to. Like, I had stopped going to them because my mom was diagnosed when she was like 64 or 65. She was early like obviously and fairly young, healthy, just no short-term memory,
right,
with dementia, and the groups just didn't seem very authentic. The first couple years that I was finding them or going to a great friend, Kendall Presser, who was dealing with her mother's Lewy body dementia,
right.
And so I would go with her, you know, when she would bring one up, or I wasn't in town or something, just it always something. So I just kind of stopped going. But this one was great. Like, it was just a relief. It was just authentic. Like when they were running through the 7 stages that we go through ongoing, nobody was trying to take the stage or take anybody else's time. It was just natural, organic, and just, you know, one person chiming in. It was really great. It was very well, just good vibe, good feeling, everything about it. So,
and I'm so happy to hear that. And, you know, we, again, have just been blessed for everything to come together the way that it has. And, you know, I truly believe it's a God thing. And
absolutely.
Accolade Home Health Care, got to give a plug to them.
Yeah,
because they are our partners. They are our partners in this.
Jane.
So, okay. So
she was awesome.
Poor Kimberly is so confused because there's Jann, who's me, then there's Jane, and then there's Jamie, and then there's Tracy, who does
Tracy wouldn't have thrown me off.
But then there's Tracy and Tracy. Yes. So there's 2 Tracys that are all kind of in this group that have created this group together. So
that's awesome.
You know,
did a great job. They really did.
Thank you. Yeah, they are just amazing people, and you can tell their hearts are really in it, and it is about helping others, and that's what we want to do with this program, is give to our community and, number one, raise awareness, because I don't think that there's enough of that going on.
Absolutely.
I think that it is changing, and people are being more aware of the disease and voicing the awareness of it and what can we do. Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States.
Wow.
And it's the only leading cause that doesn't have a prevention or a cure. So, you know, it's my passion to, you know, not only give to the community and have a safe place, quote unquote, for, you know, people to come and talk about what they're going through, because, you know, it's not a fun thing, but we want it to be somewhere where they can talk about it. And I remember when I met with Bronwyn and her group, we went around and talked about how the disease has affected us. And it was my first time to talk out loud about my dad.
Other than to your mom.
Other than to my family. Yeah. And it was just like the ugly cry, you know, like I was, you know, couldn't get the words out, cry. And I was just so embarrassed. But I went home after and thought, that felt good, you know. At the time, it was super embarrassing, you know.
You didn't know anybody.
I didn't know anybody, and everyone's like, "Who's this crazy woman bawling her eyes out?"
But nobody was thinking of you that way, because they'd all been there at some point in time.
Right, exactly.
There was at some point Jane said, because she was telling us the 7 stages. And the first 3, I wish I had that piece of paper. I actually took a picture of it, but I just started crying. And so she passed out paper towels, but then there was a woman across the way said, looking straight at me, he's like, this is a safe place to cry. It is okay to cry.
Yeah.
Oh, because I was just in tears.
Right.
Because it's the first time in probably about 2 years that to get things done.
Yeah.
I just decided, like, I'm going to stop crying about it. I'm just going to take every day as a new day, because that's what it is,
right?
To her,
sure.
And just get stuff done, because I had to get stuff in line and situated, and I had to put my big girl panties on.
Right.
You know, my mom deserved that. She took care of us and raised us, and she deserves to be taken care of now. And unfortunately, it has to be in this way, but I'm happy to be that one to do it. You know? And so I just hadn't had a good cry. So the first 15 minutes of Donn's friends, I got to cry. It was great. I loved it. So thank you very much for inviting. I plan on being in the game room with those who had the disease, not those who were caring for them.
So, you know, of course, whenever my mom and I put this program together, I said, okay, well, I'm going to take care of, you know, the people who have the disease, because it's way more fun. Like, I get to sing, I get to play games, you know, I get to make arts and crafts, and even though I need that time to talk about it, because I really do feel like that's super important, whether or not you've had one that's passed from it or you're going through it right now, you got to have people that you can relate to and understand. And like Jane said, even though every situation is going to be different, we're all dealing with basically the same thing, and you can't do it by yourself. And
it takes a village.
It takes a village. And that's, again, another reason why I wanted to start Donn's Friends, is to let people know that they're not alone in this fight. And, you know, we've got a long way to go. But, you know, for what we have now, let's make the most of it and fellowship with each other and talk to each other and get through it together and
spread the word.
Not alone.
So when do they meet? When's their...
So
anybody can come.
Anyone can come. Yes, anyone who either has been diagnosed with the disease or is a caregiver are welcome to come to our program. So we meet the second and fourth Tuesday of every month from 10 to 11:15 at the Flower Mound Senior Center. We'd love to have anyone who's interested, anyone who is going through it right now. There is
Donn's
a place to go.
friends.
Yes,
They
Donn's
know
friends.
you're on the schedule. I saw it on the calendar flyer.
I know. I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I really am excited about this passion project for you. I'm happy that we got to talk about it today, and hopefully we'll have more good and maybe some not as many sad reports on stories that come out of your passion project and my passion project. But I'm looking forward to the future in a different way for sure now than I ever did before.
Right.
It definitely gives you a glimmer of hope.
Sure.
When you're around other people that are going through it.
Right.
Knowing that you're not crazy or that you're not a bad person.
Right.
Or like there's so many different emotions that everybody feels.
Absolutely.
And they're all going to be different. But thank you for
Yes.
putting this together, you and your mom.
Yes. We're so excited about it. And we started it in March, and even from March to now, we've grown. So
yeah, they said that because people were saying it wasn't enough, that they got approval to have the second
right.
Tuesday.
So we were doing it just once a month.
Yeah.
Because there was such a high demand of people wanting to come back, and we actually do have more participants in the caregivers corner than the people that are diagnosed with the disease, which is 100% okay.
Yeah.
We're there for both, but we need it. And that's why we grew to 2 times a month, is because it's just so needed in the communities. And, in as sad of a disease it is, like you said, we want to laugh and we want to, just be able to enjoy life and what we, have been faced with in that. And, I think about my dad when he was alive, when he was kind of in the middle stages of the disease, and people would come up to him and say, well, Donn, how you doing? And he said, well, you know what? I'm doing great, but I can't remember shit. And that was his favorite line. And so just having that positive attitude, like, look, sucks that I can't remember anything, but I sure do love life,
Every day is a new day.
Yeah.
Every day is a new day for them. My mom says, when my mom has a tendency to hide things.
Yeah.
And she likes to make little jokes that, well, I guess when I'm gone, you'll find everything.
Yeah.
And she laughs,
Right.
And I have to laugh. And before I used to
Sure.
get frustrated, but now I just laugh with her.
Just laugh with her. Yeah.
If you don't laugh with them,
Yeah.
you're gonna miss it. You're gonna
Absolutely.
miss when they're not around to laugh with them anymore. So
you're right.
that is awesome that he says.
Yes.
That.
Yeah.
Can't remember shit, but I'm having a great day.
Right.
That is awesome. Way to go, Donn.
Way to go, Donn. That was him.
Well, awesome. Well, okay. There's so many other things we could chat about while we're here, but I think we're going to stop.
On that note,
We will pick up next week, and I appreciate you being my very first on this new venture that I'm heading out on. Not quite sure which direction, but we're going.
I feel
down the
honored.
path,
I really do.
I appreciate you so much. So
yeah.
Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you, friend.
And thank you for listening. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Bye.